Why are you wearing a Dodge? Oh, it's the Langer's jersey shirt with your LA
Yeah,
hat.
I pair that with my LA hat.
Yeah.
Right.
Ugh, you're wearing red, white, and blue, and I'm wearing red and white.
Look
Ugh.
at that. Like twinsies, huh? Like that.
Oh no.
This
How did this happen?
it's starting to converge, you know. We shall become one.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Never in my life do I wish that for anyone.
Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to One of Each, the Dumb and Hungry podcast, where we talk about our food adventures and our favorite food groups. I'm Angelo, the Dumb and Hungry.
And I'm my chow.
And thank you for joining us. I hope you're doing all right. My chow, another day, another, I don't know, verbal dump fire diarrhea sort of.
Sorry.
I don't know.
What?
Yeah, kind of that's a way to start, don't you think?
Yeah, I've proven the point, I suppose.
Well, here we are once again. How are you?
I'm fine, I guess. I had a dental appointment. Got my crown finally, permanent crown, so that's good. For anyone out there, don't do an HMO for dental. Yeah, like it was bugging me before Japan, right? So I ended up getting I had to get a root canal the week before we flew out.
Is that right? I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah. So they just filled it, so I didn't get the temporary crown until after it came back. And then I just got the permanent crown now, but I was worried I was going to break my tooth in Japan. So I kept, from the beginning, I was chewing on one side.
Oh, really? Okay. So you still tried to eat through Japan, but just...
that's not going to stop me.
Just on one side. Yeah. No, I guess not. No. Okay. Well, glad you got that done. Was that painful? Painless? I don't know. How did it work out?
It was the permanent crown, so it was fine. But a couple weeks ago was the temp crown, and that was painful. Well, that wasn't painful. It was just, I guess, sore after. Because I had to saw into my teeth to get rid of it. So
yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
Have you never had a root canal?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think I've been pretty fortunate so far.
Yeah,
I had maybe a small filling here or something, but nothing really major like that yet.
Okay. Oh, good. Hopefully it stays that way. Because root canals don't hurt. They hurt before because it's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you're sitting there waiting while they're drilling into your mouth for doing who knows what. You don't feel anything.
Right.
It's just,
you got that anesthetic on there, right?
Dread. Yeah.
So how long did the procedure take you?
The root canal itself is like an hour and a half.
Okay.
I was waiting for an hour and a half before they even got to me, which is the worst part.
So you have to wait, and then you still do the procedure, and then yeah. So did you have to give you anything after the fact? You know?
Yeah, I was taking pills while I was in Japan. Actually, I was taking amoxicillin, so an antibiotic for a week, 3 pills a day for 7 days. And they also gave me the ibuprofen, the big ibuprofen that's prescription strength, which is great. I didn't use much of it, so I still have a bunch.
Well, good. Not even a root canal can stop my child from conquering Japan and elsewhere.
All of Japan, yes. The 2 cities I've been to was all of Japan, yes.
Yeah, creating his own dynasty and empire. Right?
Yeah. I will say, when we went to Oli and I went to the conveyor belt sushi when we were there, we had the highest stack of plates. People were more chill with their eating. We were just stacking them. No, I'm here for the cheap sushi. Let's go.
That's right.
Because that reminds me, I went to Kura last week because a friend of mine wanted to get the current collab prizes. So you do 15 plates to get a gacha prize.
Yes.
$3.70 a plate now, which is crazy to me. It used to be $1.50.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Due to inflation.
Exactly. Due to inflation, and we'll get to that in a sec. But yes, due to inflation.
But the smart thing now, though, they sell you can just order the gacha prize you want for the price of a plate.
Oh, so you don't need to go through the whole.
We didn't know that until we already got the first gacha, so we did our 15 and we just bounced because I'm $3.70 a plate for this. I don't know.
Well, that I feel like that's the equivalent of what you'd want to do at like Chuck E. Cheese's. Like, I don't need to play all the games. I just want to buy the prize. Can I buy the prize?
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Thankfully, they give that option.
Okay.
So.
All right. So as long as you got, the prize that you wanted, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It does remind me. You have to remind me offline. I read this article about this revolving sushi restaurant in Gardena, down the South Bay. But maybe you'd have to visit and to try it out. So
yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta bring John because he's all about. Well, he's over that, right? He's over his aversion to sushi here in the States.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, Japan will do a lot of things to you. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and he's going again this year, so he might not want to do sushi again for a while.
I know. I don't. Yeah. So maybe just for us plebes, I suppose, or just me. I think I'm the only one really from this group who has not been to Japan. So.
Change that.
Yeah. One day we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But for now, I'll just eat all the sushi and ramen that's out here for now.
All of LA, yes.
Yeah. We'll conquer LA.
One man cause for the shortage of fish in the Los Angeles area.
Single-handedly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Macho, was pretty neat seeing each other recently. We did probably the unthinkable or the unspeakable or the improbable or something, but it was really, we did the mixing of the friend groups.
Yeah, I can't believe you've destroyed my one rule.
Yeah, I have no respect for you.
Yeah,
just
that's fair.
Consideration. Just like, I have this one request. It's like,
no,
it's like
it's a rule for my friend groups, not yours.
It's like you did the one thing I asked you specifically not to do. It's one of those things.
No, I don't mix friend groups at all. Okay. Or I try not to as much as possible. You, on the other hand, just meet everybody. It's fine. Y'all
right.
Crazy.
Just all kind of mix in there. So
yeah, how could you do this?
I don't know, but here we are. But in this case, we mixed the old friend group with Team XDR. And that's again the label that we're sticking with and we're going with.
Yeah, we'll see if that catches.
But we had I think a pretty good meetup. We were down here out in Long Beach, and we all tried out some food at a place that none of us had been before, with a cuisine that I don't think many of us had. But we visited a restaurant called Crystal Thai Cambodian restaurant. It's down in Long Beach. It's in that kind of enclave of little Cambodia.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a food, I think, a cuisine that is just still not as well known or just not as thought about. I think when we think about Asian cuisine, our go-tos, of course, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Thai, Vietnamese, right? But not much in the way of Cambodian Khmer food. So, which is interesting because one of our friends is Cambodian. And
why does it have to be the qualifier?
I just wanted to throw that in there.
It's like the Howlin' Rays when you met that random.
Well, I thought it's like I don't know, Lost Brothers or something. You want them to connect, and reunite or something. That's what I was thinking.
Is that racism?
No, it's kindred spirits.
Okay.
Khmer. Yeah, Khmer spirits. Okay. Yeah. See?
All right, sure.
I'm just trying to bring everyone together here,
That's admirable. Why are you laughing?
Yeah. Here we are. That's good. But yes, as we continue with this Khmer food, the Cambodian cuisine, we had quite a good meal. Let me it's a local spot. It's neighborhood. I think just a favorite for those that are in the neighborhood. And it's not.
It was a restaurant just
exactly just a very one of your hole in the walls. Going inside even it's not a very big spot. You got a few booths. You got we were lucky I think to have just a table that was exactly meant for, the group of us. There's like 8 of us. And we were able to kind of get that and sit down. And thankfully we did, because shortly after, a lot more people started rolling in and filling up that space. How many you think would have been in there?
Not many.
Yeah, I mean,
20,
let's say a couple. Yeah, like a couple
20
dozen
or less.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it is a small space, but they make some mighty fine food. So, we made a game plan, about the things to order. So just kind of run through these here. We got some beef skewers. We got this latcha, which is a stir fry noodle with some sauce on there. We got the water spinach to Carmen's request. That was a last minute addition. Otherwise, it would have just gone
no shame, no regrets, no remorse. Like
absolutely
no
not.
Carmen.
I just finished it today. I took the rest home. Okay. So that's one of the few things that was still left over. So I mean,
not surprisingly,
exactly. In the way of other vegetables, we did have some eggplant, but I did make sure to add some beef on there, which I think really took it over the top. Papaya salad, which I don't remember. Was did someone get thrown off with the papaya salad? There's like something in the way of the spice level or something like that.
I was completely surprised by how spicy a salad could be, but it took me by surprise. There was also, I don't know, I think that was really the big thing. There's a little claw in it. I forgot what it was.
Oh, was there?
Claw, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are a couple little tiny claws.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't catch that. But good to know. Now I'm gonna butcher this name. This is a soup, a salmon machu. This was a kind of a sour based soup with things like, there's various meats in there. Beef. We had intestine. We had all kind of
That's good.
And various vegetables as well. So that is a national dish. I think one of the more signature dishes of Cambodians. So I'm glad we got that. Also got the lok lak, which is a stir-fried beef dish. Mm-hmm. The fried catfish, which I think took well to everyone once we started digging into it. Got to thank Team XDR for deconstructing that for us, because
one person specifically, but
all right. But yeah, I think once we dug into it, it was quite good. It was great and nice and crispy on the outside. Yeah. Great flavor of that fish. And then that sauce, I haven't looked up what it was, but it reminds me of like the Vietnamese have the nuoc nam, which is like that fish sauce. It's kind of it's got that savory sweetness to it, but this is definitely a thicker, version of it. I don't know if that's correct. If anyone wants to follow up with me on that, email us at hi@dumbandhungry.com. And no one will. So we also got some sweet and sour ribs. I will note that both that and the salmon machu share an ingredient of pineapple in there. So, but the sweet and sour rib is it's a saucy dish.
It was, yes.
Yeah, but little nice bite-sized pieces of rib in there. Now, there were 2 other dishes in mind, to get, but there are 2 things that happened. One, our host just straight up said, that's too much food. Just yes, actually before the sweet and sour, they cut us off before I ordered the sweet and sour ribs. They already cut us off before that. It's too much food. And I was going to ask for one more dish, right? I'd ask for one more. Originally, it was going to be this ban chow, or ban chev, as they have it here, which is this like thin crepe dish. But they said that they wouldn't have it available. I think, or they said they were too busy to make it take too much to prepare. I think they were just saying we don't want to do it. Okay, you ordered too much.
I don't blame them.
How dare you? Exactly. So, but they did accommodate our sweet and sour rib request, so I'm grateful about that. And then one other item we had in mind we did not get was the cha krong, which is good question. I'm not sure, but I think that's the one with the kind of there you can choose a meat. I was gonna get chicken, but it's like fried with like long bean or something. I think that's the one.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't get that either. So, and then there were various beverages that they had that different people ordered. Remind me what those kind of more specialty drinks were.
I mean, it was just Thai tea, right?
Okay.
And there's also an iced coffee, normal stuff. But the majority of the table got the egg soda.
Egg soda. Okay. So
which I didn't have it, unfortunately. I didn't try it. I should have. But it's supposed to be like egg yolk with club soda and condensed milk, I think is what they said it was supposed to be. And I heard it was good. It was very well received.
Okay, good. I also did not get to try it. But if I heard it was good, it looks like it's more of a Vietnamese recipe.
Oh, okay.
So as you said, egg yolk, condensed milk. So here's a silly question: is it raw egg? It's raw egg. That's what we were talking about, right? Like I wasn't sure if it was.
Because it should be, right? How would it?
I don't know.
Because you would think like a poached egg yolk.
Yeah, just a very lightly, like very quickly cooked, like egg yolk. Like it hasn't anything to actually scramble it or anything, but just enough to bring that temp up to potentially, take care of any foreign adversaries in the yolk. I don't know. I don't know how things work. Okay, I just eat the stuff, consume them. But a lot of time.
Why question?
Okay, just trying to be a little.
Just put it in your mouth and swallow. That's what we do.
It's words to live by, I tell you. But yes, I think those who had it enjoyed it more or less. Yeah. So
and they didn't die, as far as we know. Exactly.
That's the more important. At least not right away. So I wouldn't be liable. Good. But that was quite the menu, and there's 8 of us and kind of 2 square-sized tables put together, and we had all these dishes that just started coming out, one after the other. And I think it really put a challenge to kind of move everything around, pass the dishes around, but it was a good time well spent. I mean, like it was a good meal,
Yeah, definitely.
Was there anything?
She said it was too much food, but we put a good dent in it. Technically, we could have finished it if we really wanted to.
I mean, we really did finish. I mean, the only thing we didn't finish was the water spinach and the rice. Yeah, but I think we finished everything else.
All the proteins. Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we demolished everything.
So remember, they have that was our first visit, so they have not they haven't met the likes of us. I think that's how it goes. But again, for 8 people, I mean, that's that was a considerable amount. So glad. I was going to ask, was there anything stand out for you? From
honestly, I really like that sour soup. My sister's boyfriend is Cambodian.
Oh yeah,
and that's like his whatever, like, because the closest thing we have in Filipino food is sinigang.
Yes.
So whenever my parents make it, he eats a lot of it because it reminds him of that same sour soup.
Yes.
I understand why it's good.
Right. Now, hey, has he met Kanara?
No.
Let's make that happen.
I think we're good. You don't have the aversion I do for.
See,
for
now
groups.
Now that you've mentioned it, now it's going to be in my mind, and we're going to work towards like
day,
this union.
Long-term goals.
Oh man. So this so hey, if you're down there or if you want to try, I mean, Long Beach, Little Cambodia is the home of the largest Cambodian population, outside of Cambodia. So makes sense that you have a great variety of that cuisine over there. And it's just really underrated. I think it would be unfair to say that Cambodian food is just an offshoot or just, I think like a mild version of like Thai food. Mm-hmm. Obviously being in the general region, you'd have overlap of ingredients and even technique and things like that. But, the food and the product, is still their own. It's still, unique to them. I mean, they go out of their way to call themselves Crystal Thai, Cambodian, restaurant. So, there's got to be a distinction, you imagine, right? So,
yeah.
but yes, that was quite good. And let me also tell you that inflation is rampant these days, apparently, particularly at this restaurant. As we walked in, there was well, here's the thing. Before I was doing some research, right, and putting together this game plan, and I was putting together what to order. And, you look at places like Yelp or, wherever they post menu picks online. But, the odd thing is that the menu picks, didn't have any prices on there. I don't know if you took a look. I mean, more of the recent, picks didn't have any prices. Some of the older ones did, but, that was very old, and again, inflation. So, and then, I was kind of confused. So I just put together the list and just hope for the best. And, I tried to gauge in my mind, I guess, an estimate of what dishes like these could cost. But, I could only do so much, I guess. But as we walked inside, there was a couple of just signs, if you could call them signs. Basically, just like,
signs,
printed pieces of paper, right?
Printed text.
Text
just in 0.72 font.
And it says here, due to inflation, menu prices are not shown. If you have questions, please ask. And then in all caps, thank you. And actually, thank you, although it's all caps, it's emphasis, right? But it ends in a period. So I think it like evens it out or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's quite, inflation will do that to you. So, there you go.
So how much? And the point of the reason this matters is because it's cash only, so you can't use your card. So you need to make sure you have enough. And
exactly.
What happened there?
Yeah. So I'm telling you right now, dinner came up to about, I think, $35 a person.
Okay.
So I think it was reasonable. That's inclusive tax and tip and all that.
Yeah. That's not
so
bad.
I think I don't know. I feel like for the amount of food that we had, that was about 9 dishes, all the drinks and all that, right? I think that was a reasonable ask. But then again, how would you know? You just go up there and say, "Can I pay?" And then they just give you a number. They just tell you the number to pay, and then you just, okay, I guess that's what it is,
What's an itemized receipt?
Exactly, right. Those are non-existent here. So, but yeah, once again, that's Crystal Thai Cambodian restaurant in Long Beach. So, good times had by all. Thank you to the Old Friend Group and Team XDR for a good time there.
It's good, but it wasn't it. That wasn't everything.
No, you're right. Actually, okay.
Jesus.
You're right. We never can just stop there. I mean, actually, who was it? One of them asked, hey, I forget how it was phrased, but where are we going after this? Is basically the follow-up question, It's like, where else are we going? Question. So, we didn't necessarily do like a bang bang or whatever, but
although almost went in and out.
We could have, yes, we potentially could have, but unfortunately, we were outnumbered.
Look, that's how this all started. This whole bang bang thing. It was a joke. Okay, anytime I said where we're going next, it was always a joke, and yet we ended up going somewhere after anyway.
I mean,
way back.
I think in this case we do take these requests seriously.
Doesn't always have to be.
But in this case, we did follow up with some sweet treats.
Dessert doesn't count. It's always room for dessert.
So in Long Beach, or actually specifically the city of Lakewood, incorporated in that area, but is a shopping center and complex called the Long Beach Exchange, and we've mentioned it a couple times. You've been somewhat familiar with it, but I think this was your first time to visit out there.
Yeah.
But so at the Long Beach Exchange, you got various shops, various restaurants and things, but then you also have a specific food court style building called the Long Beach Hangar, and so that has a handful of other food type, restaurants and stuff, fast casual eats and whatnot. Yeah, I'm curious. How would you explain, how would you explain your experience at that area, and what you saw and, went through there?
I don't know. Honestly, I was in there for the bathroom. But the Croft was like the only one that I knew from there. It was the Croft because we went to the one in Chinatown previously. So that was cool. Just nice to see. But otherwise, it looked interesting. There were some, I forgot what it was, but it's something I would try. It was in the corner, like when you on the left side when you enter the corner in the back. I remember for some reason that one stuck out to me, but I have no idea why.
Okay, well, if anyone's out there, I don't know. Well, next time you're down here,
you don't know. How dare you?
I don't know offhand. I don't keep track sometimes.
Disappointed.
But if you do come down again, we'll go out there and we'll pay a visit.
Yeah.
But particularly what we were focused on was not at the hangar, but just at the exchange itself was this ice cream shop called Handles. So it's kind of a local chain. There are a few locations scattered throughout, but the one out here in Long Beach. And I don't know. There's a line. It seems pretty popular.
Yeah, I'm very surprised by that line, honestly.
But they got a lot of flavors and just a lot of different ways to prepare them. But what did you get out there?
So I ended up getting it was just a cup, waffle cup bowl thing, dipped in chocolate and peanuts.
Yeah.
With 2 flavors of the Baus in a House, which is like a Reese's peanut butter cup thing. And the strawberry cheesecake chunk because cheesecake. And it was good. I would definitely get it again.
Okay, good. And what did Oli get? I kind of remember looked a bit more.
Split?
Yeah.
Yeah, banana split with 3 flavors of black cherry. And I don't remember the other 2.
Okay.
But it was good.
Now, does she like banana splits typically? Is that her go-to?
Oh, yeah, that's her. Yeah, like even at Fossilman's, she'd get one of those.
Okay.
So anywhere that offers it, it's usually what she gets.
Okay, nice. What did I get? I got a, I don't know. I think I got a medium.
Did you get a 4-scoop sampler? Oh,
no,
okay.
I didn't. I think I just got a medium, which came with 2 flavors. I think it was a pecan praline and like a peanut butter brownie flavor. So both
just a bowl. No waffle anything.
No. Okay. So just a cup, just a standard run of the mill kind of deal. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, as you mentioned, you could get a 4-scoop sampler so you can try out different flavors. So
yeah, which is cool.
Well,
it's a flight, basically.
It's a flight, exactly. Well, it makes sense. We're near the hangar.
The hangar, yeah, yeah. But I don't know why they didn't call it a flight.
Well, I'm glad we got to try it, and I think it sounds like something that we would go back again. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure what to say. I mean, the ice cream itself was the flavors I think that everyone had were enjoyed. It was a good texture of ice cream, nice and creamy. I mean, nothing really you can complain or or ask more of really for just some good ice cream.
Yeah, and I was told they're opening up one in Los Feliz area.
Okay, well there you go. See, for you.
Yeah, so closer to home for me, but I'm excited. But it depends on where it is, I suppose. I think it'd be where Connell's Fine Ice Cream was.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. But we'll guess we'll find out when the time comes. So
yeah.
Hey, speaking of food, let's continue talking about it.
Yeah, that's what we do.
It's what we do. So thank you, really, to our listeners and viewers and everywhere, really our few and only fans. Thank you for joining us as we continue to talk about our food adventures, these local spots, pop-ups, everything in between, good food, good people. We are really on this, I'm on this kind of kick here to catch up on, a lot of places that I've visited recently and wanted to kind of share about to see if you'd be interested to try as well, at your leisure. We went through a lot of spots. Last time we talked about a lot of restaurants, whether in San Gabriel Valley, San Fernando Valley, kind of the central Los Angeles area. Yeah. Even to the west side, there's a lot of places that we covered. We didn't really specifically say last time, but I was counting here, including some of the after show bits. We hit about 40 places, to try. Eesh. So that's plenty to keep busy. So, from all sorts of foods, from the important food groups, burgers, barbecue, tacos, Asian flair. What is your
other foundational food group?
There's many. I mean, there's too many to count. I mean, ice cream is a foundational food group as well, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I think we'll continue with that. So, so let me just kind of run down again, basically what this is not. This is not a like top list. This is not like a top 10, top whatever list. This is not a ranked list. This is, again, not an ordered list as far as like preference of, worst to best. This is not a review list. I may talk about some things more than others, probably because they're just more fresh in mind or just more memorable. I don't know, maybe. Mm-hmm. But generally, these are places that I enjoyed, visiting. But I don't think I really left out anyone. So everything's pretty all-inclusive from as far as I'm concerned. There's obviously places in these areas that people would think, oh, why didn't you visit this place or this place? And I may have visited those places before, in another visit, but I'm just kind of talking about a particular window of time. And so that's what these places are. So the only really sort of ordering or kind of order there is just by area, so we've kind of looked at the major regions of, the LA area, LA County. But again, these are in no particular like ranked order or anything. We'll get started here. So we're going to start off in, going to move now to the South Bay area. And again, these regions generally, I think generally most people who are from LA are more familiar will be familiar with these general regions, but we'll throw down where we kind of defined these areas from. We didn't just make them up. Maybe some I did. I don't know. Or I have poor memory remembering what they are. Yeah. But let's just start off here in actually the city of Inglewood. In my mind, actually, Inglewood, I don't know. I feel like Inglewood is its own thing. I don't always associate it with South Bay. I always find a hard time to kind of group it. Is it South Bay? Is it West Side? Is it, more South? But again, according to these regions defined, it's part of the South Bay. So we'll throw it in there. But if you have any thoughts. Okay, see? Exactly. So if you don't believe me or the county supervisors of Los Angeles, please email us at hi@dumbandhungry.com. Let's kick it off here at this spot. Now, Inglewood is home to a lot of great, actually, soul restaurant, soul food, Jamaican, Caribbean, and there are plenty of those, plenty visited and plenty to talk about. But we got to start off with, again, a foundational food group. And that is burgers. So this spot I've probably seen on TikTok, maybe on YouTube, on the socials for sure. It's a restaurant called Storm Burger. And it's just, their goal is just to make a simple product, just a classic burger, that you get like from a classic burger stand. So you can see here, this is, it's cooked towards like a smash type burger. It's, thin patties. But you can see how it's built. It's built like kind of a burger stand type kind of deal. It's thick on the veg. You got the tomato, onion, lettuce, and then the bun is kind of a thicker bun, not quite brioche, but it's not quite your super soft white plushy bun. So biting into it, it's got a little bit of heft, but it's not too, doesn't throw it off. There's not an overpowering ratio or whatever of the meat to the rest of the ingredients. I think it works well for like a burger stand type burger. So that's Thornbury. That's a thing to try out there. So moving on, the next restaurant I actually wanted to highlight is also in Inglewood, and I'm not exactly sure of the name of the restaurant itself. I mean, only because you just see it, printed, but I don't really know the pronunciation.
I see.
I'll pronounce it as Two Homies. Okay, so that's spelled HOMMES, and that E has an accent there.
An accent mark because it's French. Right. Yeah.
Homies.
Isn't it just two ohms?
Homies. But
Yeah,
if there's the accent, would it not require the explicit pronunciation? I don't know. If you know French, please email us at hi@dumbandhungry.com. So what we have here, I can't remember when exactly this was. I think it was just a casual day. I was coming from that general area. And then I just remember this place, just coming across this place and wanting to try it. So there was another restaurant here. I remember it was like a wing spot. And I think those same owners basically made it this current spot now. But I may be wrong, but I think that's what it was. So we have a plate here. We have jollof rice and some fried plantains. We have a very flavorful bean dip, a black bean as well. And what you don't quite see, you have some microgreens on top of the jollof rice, but what's kind of hidden under there is a root beer braised short rib. So the plate itself, the plate without the protein, I think is like 20 something. I think it's like 25 something. And then you add the protein on there, which is another actually like $20 or something. So it comes to a pretty pricey meal, but I will say it is dishes that are kind of elevated. They are prepared a little more thoughtfully. There's definitely more thought in the preparation, and I think it makes for a great meal. So even though it is a little bit pricier, but again, you're getting some like short ribs, so I think it kind of warrants the price here. But that's two homies in Inglewood. If we follow up with that and get some proper
Not French
pronunciation, okay, maybe I'll have to go and maybe ask what's going on there. So
yeah, you should, and tell them how you pronounce it. I'm very, very curious how they react to this.
Okay. Next up, so we're gonna travel to the city of Hawthorne, and there are a few places there. One of which is from comes from a familiar friend, Mr. Mark Tripp. So that is at Tripp Burgers out in
LA Aleworks.
At Aleworks, yes.
Oh,
so
wow. Nice.
Mark and Tripp Burgers, you could count them either West Side or South Bay, but I was visiting them with Team XCR. We were out there.
TFTI.
I know, but then it's hard to.
I love Tripp Burgers the most.
It's hard to get out there,
How dare you?
Okay, well, I owe you Tripp Burger. I owe you 4-stack. So
let's go.
But as always, Mark is always very friendly and hospitable and everything, and makes some of LA's greatest smash burgers. And it's great in its simplicity, great in its flavor.
What is this? Onions, pickles? What's wrong with you?
That's it. I mean, what? I mean, that's all. As long as there's no ketchup on there, I think we're safe.
Of that.
Yeah, you're right. If you could just have a plain
meat and cheese. I think that's Flying Dutchman version.
I think we should. I think they would be amenable to that.
Oh, would they?
But in addition to Mark, I also want to shout out to Jordan, who works there at Aleworks and had helped. We had met when he was helping Mark out in his pop-ups early on, and but now he's focusing his time at Aleworks, and so I just want to shout out to him and thank him for always being real kind and just always being good to us. So, but yeah, whenever you're out there, get a good brew, and hopefully Trip is out there too. But if you miss him at Aleworks, he'll be popping up at various places in South Bay or West Side, or sometimes even in downtown if you can catch him. So that's Trip Burgers out there. So next couple of places, also in Hawthorne. One is a place we've talked about. It's called Pick Your Plate. It's a Filipino restaurant. It's just like a local spot, again, like a neighborhood local spot. It's not very like well known, I think, to the those outside, but for those who do know, I think they really like them, and really have a lot of regulars. They have their that come back. So this is Maichai, you're familiar with like the point joints, your cafeteria style, kind of places where you have this I don't know, how do you describe it? You have this glass pane that shows you all the different dishes that they have available for that day. You just kind of point to which dishes you want, and then they'll kind of serve them out there on a plate, and then you're good to go, right? So they've got staples like adobo and sisig, but they also have a lot of rotating flavors. Some that come to mind are Bicol Express or a chicken curry. Sometimes they have things like even pasta or gumbo, I think we had mentioned at one point. So they keep things a little interesting with some variety. Weekly, they offer, I think they offer lechon. I can tell you that, like a Cebu lechon. So, those are the days to really, you want to check them out. But the owners, the family there, just everyone who works there is also very kind, very hospitable, always welcoming. And I think I've said that we've kind of gone there, or I've gone there quite often with some other people I work with, and we've been there pretty regularly. That they kind of know each other by name, and always excited to see each other. So that's Pick Your Plate. I'm sure whatever neighborhood you're at, or you'll find a spot like that. And it's always nice to know that there are people that care about the community, and always want to help the community and serve them through good food. So
yeah,
Pick Your Plate is one of those places. And then as well, also mentioned another spot called Zacatecas, which is a Mexican restaurant also out in Hawthorne. And the thing to try there would be I remember having a carne asada plate, and the portions are pretty generous. The carne asada, I think, just really stood out whenever I visited there. It was just like a thin strip of carne asada, but it was very well seasoned. It was nice and tender. And then, it's loaded with, the side of rice and beans and a little pico, and just the whole dish, as a whole was just very enjoyable. So I'm glad that turned out very well. Now there are two Zacatecas out there. I forget. So this one is called Zacatecas, and then there's another restaurant called Zacatecas. I forget, a similar name, but we'll throw down the correct location of where what I'm talking about was. So yeah, but now on from Hawthorne, now we're going into the city of Torrance. Now Torrance is probably one of the big cities that you think of when you think of the South Bay. It's pretty suburban, very it's a very safe area where you want to maybe settle down, or just have a pretty good time without too much fuss out there. But one spot that wanted to highlight was from our friend Alec, who runs the pop-up AGL, and I had seen him out there when he was at this brewery, Smog City. And actually, he's back in LA after visiting New York and staying in New York for a little bit, trying to I think just kind of learn new things, kind of improve his skill set and everything. So he's back from that, and I think he's back better than ever. So
Nice.
we have a barbecue plate here, which of course is such a very important food group. So we have some brisket, some ribs, potato salad, mac and cheese, and that first bite, even after being gone for that long, it was all very familiar, all very good. That brisket was came with a good texture, good flavor, and nothing you can really complain about. And then on days when he serves up the pastrami, that's the day that you also want to visit. He's got some really good pastrami that you got to try. That's AGL. So again, just like a lot of these pop-ups, you want to follow them on social just to make sure that you're finding them at the right places and getting the good stuff there. So now also in Torrance, technically this spot is really an Inglewood spot. This spot is called Sweet Red Peach. But I'm listing them down in Torrance because I had visited them down at the Del Amo Mall, which is one of their more recent locations. So I think recently in the last, couple of years, they've been starting to branch out and expand to locations. So this is one of their more recent locations. And what you want to get here, I'm a sucker for, good desserts, good baked goods. And in this case, they have a great red velvet cake. So, we know that red velvet is basically just red chocolate, I guess, but with good cream cheese frosting. So that's the go-to, right? I think whatever, they have so many varieties, different types of slices of cake, and they have cookies and muffins and things like that. But whatever you get there, I think is going to be a good bite. I mean, if you have the chance to visit the original location out in Inglewood, which is on Prairie, just actually pretty much across from SoFi Stadium. It's a good spot. I mean, you get lines out the door some days over there on weekends and whatnot. But it is one of LA's more heralded, I think, places for good dessert like that.
Okay.
So, but they were out there in Del Amo Mall, so I had the chance to try them out there. And then actually not too far from the Del Amo Mall is this small spot called Standing Room, or the Standing Room. And actually they're based, I think they're originally based out in Redondo, so that's where the OG spot is, and I think that's where a lot of people might know them from. They're tucked away in a liquor store out there. But in Torrance, they got their own storefront. It's a smaller shop, I think, so they offer burgers and various sandwiches and things like that. The menu at this Torrance location is a little pared down, so there's not as much, but I believe what I'm looking at here is this burger called the Cash Burger,
Nice.
which has things like bacon, some shishito peppers, some, you can see the fried onion ring on there,
Onion ring.
some hoisin barbecue sauce on there as well. So it's interesting. There's it's like these American burgers, American ingredients with some Asian influences as well. If you take a look at the menu, you'll see something sprinkled there too.
How's that hoisin barbecue? Because I love hoisin sauce. Not like Tomo, but I do love hoisin, and I love barbecue sauce.
Well, you're gonna like this one. It's it's got a
more
nice
barbecue-y saucy or more hoisin-y?
I think it makes a good balance. There is some sweetness that you get, of course, from a barbecue sauce, but a hoisin to an extent can have some sweetness too. So I think you definitely you get that hoisin flavor, but with the smokiness of a barbecue sauce. So
Nice. Okay.
So and it's not too much. It's not doused in there, although I'm sure you wouldn't mind, but it's not.
You get it on the side to drink.
I think you can. Yes.
Okay.
So, but you can see these are burgers that are a little thicker patty. But yeah, I mean, all the ingredients together, whichever you get, it's going to be a good bite there. So something to enjoy. That's the standing room. So again, if you're in Torrance, you're out there, you can visit there. But again, if you have the chance to go to Redondo and visit the OG spot, that would probably be the move there. All right, these next several spots are in the small town of Gardena. So Gardena is just one of those places. Again, it's kind of suburban. It's it's kind of a quiet town. It's not as exciting as what people might consider other places in LA, but there's a lot going on as far as food, especially an Asian cuisine and other things we'll cover as well. But one of the first things is if you want a reasonably priced omakase, sushi and that kind of thing, you can visit Kanpachi Sushi out there. And not much to say except that it's low cost and it's pretty reasonable.
Okay. Define reasonable, like
$50.
Oh yeah, that's really low cost.
Okay, good.
For an omakase. Okay.
Yeah, for an omakase. So it's a small spot too, and I think you can tell that there are, people who visit there regularly, people who are very friendly with the staff and vice versa. So, they're not hurting for anything, but if you have a chance to visit them, then that might be the way to go. One other, as much as I appreciate sushi, one particular type of sushi I've been wanting to kind of get a little more into was chirashi, which is like the, like the bowls, like we'll show here, the bowls of sushi, on a bed of rice, we have some, fish roe as well. And some of the other, additions on there, but, one place to possibly visit would be Toshi Sushi, out there. Again, we're still in Gardena. There are a handful of the spots I've wanted to try and hopefully will, soon, but this was just one of those places at that time that happened to just be open and available for me to go. A lot of these local, spots, not just here, but in general, when they're really local, sometimes it can be hard to figure out when some of these guys are open. It's like you have to be in the know. If that's the case, you know what I mean? It can be kind of elusive, but kind of adds to the excitement.
It's like a pop-up store open till they run out of stock, I assume.
Yeah, exactly. So one other kind of old school spot to mention here, still on the kick of sushi, is a spot called Sake Sushi. That's Sakae. And this is, kind of real old school. They, it's cash only, and it's like in this, kind of old building, these old it's part of a complex. There are other shops there, but again, it's kind of in this kind of hidden spot. But this is kind of an idea of like what you could get. They have you could take a look at their menu when you look them up. They have, you can get something like this as like a mixed box. There's what do I have here? There's like it's like old school. You have some inari, you have some tamago, saba. Yeah.
I'm just curious about that tamago. Why does it look like a tank tread?
Hey, why don't you ask them? I mean, that's it tastes nothing rubbery or anything like that, but it's definitely Tomogo.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. But and then what's interesting too is that the forefront here you have a couple of California rolls. Those are actually you add those in addition to to the box there. Yeah. So they don't come like when you ask for a mixed box, it'll come with pretty much everything except the California rolls. But then you can add them after the fact.
Why would you add it?
Because they're good. Actually, the avocado is like, in this is like really creamy, and it's actually worth getting in this case. It's not like this cheap kind of small piece, whatever. So it's quite it's good.
Does look pretty big.
Yeah, they're quite sizable, and
it's comparable to the size of the nari, which is usually pretty long. So.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I think it's worth getting. I think this box ran about, let's say $14-15.
Oh yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, nothing. It's very reasonable. So Now, moving away a little bit from, sushi or things like that. In Gardena, you can find a handful of other types of restaurants, two of which actually has to do with some sort of fried chicken kind of deal. So this first spot is called Belly Sliders and Wings, and they serve wings and fries.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think they were operating as a food truck elsewhere, and then they found a spot in Gardena now, and it is kind of in a more busy part of town, and it just kind of has more but if you can find yourself there and you order their wings, whatever they are, whether it's lemon pepper, I don't know, soy garlic, whatever it is, they're worth getting. They're very good. They're larger than average, and they're very flavorful, and they got some great fries to pair with that. And I think the only thing though is that it does take some time for to put the food together. I think to get the order.
Oh, really?
I mean, if you're just kind of walking in, I think you can call in, maybe pick up or something, but it takes a little while. But if you're there for that and you can get it, then it's worth a visit. I think it's quite good. One other spot is in the way of fried chicken is this place called Honey Dress Fried Chicken, and I think you like this if it's just a super crispy, like shatteringly crispy crust, and it's got like this kind of sweet sauce that it's coated with. You have these combo plates where you have the chicken, and then you also have like these tenders as well, on top of a bed of fries, and it's pretty reasonable. And you bite into it, the chicken itself, the meat is just super hot, super moist. It's just really good. And you can see you can even see the pattern of like the fry, it's like the skin is like super craggly, so
awesome.
it's quite a good bite. So can't go wrong there. Now, one other spot in Gardena was kind of an interesting experience. This place is called Gardena Snack and Go, and for now they are in a discount mall. I don't know if that makes sense. So again, like I said, as you head more, I don't remember what direction I said, but as you head more towards the direction like where it borders the 110, it is a little more industrial, a little more, maybe hood if you can describe it that way. But we're talking about like this this discount mall. So it's like a place, like a building where like people, you have like all these different stalls that people just selling stuff, clothes, random things. I don't know. Goods.
Is it like that swap meet that they closed down off Santa Monica?
Kind of, maybe, but smaller,
Okay.
But I had gone at a time where like everyone was closed already, but this guy was still open. There's just one guy that's running the place, and I think it's one of the few only food places that are in there. But what did I get there? I got a burger, some fries, and some wings. And I'll just say it was better than I think maybe perceived or expected. So it's nothing, I wouldn't say necessarily outstanding or like best I've had, but I think it was definitely very good. It's a thicker patty of a good burger. The wings I got, I think these were like lemon pepper wings, and the fries were seasoned as well. They're like thicker cut fries. They're seasoned. It did take a little while. Again, he's like the only guy there. I think he was working on a couple of the orders, but it's just a real hidden spot. That's just interesting to try. But I think the guy mentioned there that he'll be moving to another like location. So
like an actual restaurant.
I don't remember the details. I think he'll be sharing that space wherever he goes with, some other business that's there. So, but the guy was pretty nice, pretty friendly. It's just a spot again that maybe not everyone would be willing to venture into or whatever. So, but if you can find yourself there, go for it. It's, just follow the socials. I think that's always the best thing. All the places we mentioned will provide some form of information for them. So, So now we are coming down to Carson. And Carson, again, just not as always the exciting place that people might, may not perceive it to be. But again, there's quite a few handful of places there that's worth visiting and going to. One of which is a bakery that's relatively new called Sweet Valentine. And it's just a good bakery. They make some great baked goods. The cookies we have, it's this toffee kind of more pronounced flavor of cookie. You have some red velvet slices there, and just a nice warm cinnamon bun. I don't know what your thoughts are on cinnamon buns, but I think they're pretty great.
Yeah, cinnamon buns are amazing.
Yeah, so I think usually it's good to go. I mean, they're open for a good while. I mean, like their hours are pretty good. So if you can catch them, they got baked goods all day, but I'm pretty sure if you go in the morning, you'll probably get a nice batch, a good warm batch of baked goods. So sweet Valentine. Now, while you're there, you could also venture not too far from there to a small ice cream spot called Ken's Ice Cream. And, there's not much to say, I wanted to say, but it's just a good local spot if you just wanted a good fix of ice cream. I mean, down the street from there, you could go to like Baskin Robbins or something and get something there too. But if you want to support a local spot, Ken's Ice Cream is the spot. So I think a number of their places I could see from the containers and stuff. They get a lot of thrifty ice cream and from
nice.
among others. But this was a strawberry cheesecake, ice cream with chunks of cheesecake in there. So I'm not going to complain about that. But you could see some of the other thrifty flavors, like what was that? Was that cotton candy one? You remember that?
Okay.
Yeah. That signature
raspberry.
Like, yeah,
raspberry
exactly.
Swirl.
Mm-hmm.
Glorious.
So, Ken's Ice Cream. Again, there are a handful of other places in Carson to visit, and perhaps we'll cover those for another time. But now we're moving into Lawndale. So Lawndale, we have this restaurant called Corner Burger, and it's another burger spot. They serve burgers that are a little thicker. So, they're not your smash burgers, but they have some great food out there. I remember having like a classic, just like a typical like burger with, your lettuce, tomato and things like that, a thick patty. But I remember also having a cowboy, which is kind of like similar to a Western. So you've got your fried onion, your barbecue sauce, your bacon. And actually, as far as, that trying to find that fix, short of going to Carl's Jr., I think this is a strong contender. So I really did enjoy that. And then the restaurant also offers, breakfast plates and things like that. They have various drinks like milkshakes, and it's a small spot. But if you're looking for something out in Lawndale, if you're there for whatever reason, then this would be a place to go. I mean, Lawndale also, is the home of a number of good like Pakistani, kind of restaurants there too. But hey, this was just one spot I wanted to mention. Now, kind of rounding out the South Bay, we are touching in LA territory, but now we are in the areas of Wilmington and San Pedro. And one spot is called LA Waterfront Pizza in Wilmington. And this is, I don't really know too much about them. I mean, I had, again, I'm probably sure I saw them on socials and they were, relatively nearby. So I thought I'd try them out. They offer both Neapolitan and Detroit style pizzas. And I think that caught my attention because, as you might know, John has been on this like Detroit kick,
Yeah.
And like any square pizza is really what he's going for. But anyway, that came to mind. But I don't know. They're relative newcomers. So I just want to say that, if you can try them out, they're good. They were, pretty good. I wish, I think the crust could do a little more on the brown, on the being a little more crispy, I think, but flavor wise and overall, it's still a pretty good bite. And I think they like do a lot of catering. They do a lot of events. And so I think that time I went, it was pretty cool. There was like they got lowriders kind of lined up along the streets. And they also had like an event going on. They had a band. They had, all sorts of things going on that day, music playing. And it was pretty exciting, actually. So I was glad to kind of stop by when I did. But yeah, so what we see here is like this Detroit style pizza. Is a little spicy, got a little bit of cheese on there, and yeah, it was that's a place to try. Now okay. Now going down a little south, neighboring area of San Pedro, there's a barbecue spot out there called Whiskey Flats, and I'd visited them out there before. It turns out they've kind of moved locations. They're a little more north. For those who know, the main artery of San Pedro is Gaffey. So they are on Gaffey closer to 5th and 6th Streets, which is more north. Previously, they were more south, like on the 20th Streets, so that's pretty far down. So they have this new spot here. So, what did I get? I got brisket, I got ribs, of course. Yeah. So nothing to... but it was nice, the previous location they had was kind of cool because it was like they took over like this old gas station, so it kind of had had the appearance, the charm of like that old school kind of feel. It was kind of very outdoor, a lot of good seating outside, but this spot is fine too, as long as they can still make good food, then that's fine. And yeah. It's a relatively more trafficked area, so hopefully it gets more attention from there. So that is the South Bay. So I think we have once again conquered yet another area of LA food. And now we're going to move on to an area called the Gateway Cities. Actually, this is only something recently that, I've been aware of that term, but I guess it makes sense now that, that is the name of these types of cities. So Gateway Cities are cities that kind of sit between and lead to the area, to Orange County mainly. So they sit between LA and the OC. You seem to be, you seem to have thoughts on that.
I've never heard of that, honestly.
You never heard of that term?
No.
Go talk to your bosses. Okay.
Look, okay. Artesia, Bellflower, Lakewood, not Long Beach, but Lakewood. They're spot 7. Okay. They're the, what is it?
What would you group them as? Is this
it's just east.
Okay, well, we call them east.
County, it's east.
Well, it's not wrong. They are definitely more east, but yeah, these are what we'll call the gateway cities. Gateway from between LA and OC, So let's start off in Artesia. Yes.
Wait, so then does that mean the east are the gateway cities like Pomona and them from between LA and what is it, San Bernardino County? Is that considered a gateway city as well, or no?
If you have knowledge on the regions of LA and the LA Greater metropolitan area, please email us at hi@dumbandhungry.com. We can put this to rest. So you can look it up, feel free as we dive into this. Artesia, although Artesia is definitely a place that you should definitely try out for a lot of Indian cuisine and fare. No doubt. It's like the main artery, Pioneer Boulevard. You want to go down there. The one place we're going to mention is actually a burger spot. It's called Nilly's. And Nilly's particularly, I want to thank specifically Jose and David of Best Food LA for hanging out and meeting up there to try some good burgers out there. So Nilly's has become a very very local favorite spot. And they make some great burgers. The way we've seen them prepare them, they're not necessarily fully smashed, but they are pressed on the grill. So they start off like these round balls of meat, and then they are pressed down on the grill, but not completely smashed. But it still gives a good flavor, a good sear, and prepared very similar to one. So, but particularly what you would want to try is one from. The one that has chili on there. And Yeah, so they have like regular burgers, but then they have these burgers that are kind of ladled with chili, and it's a nice meat chili too. So
looks good.
So whether it's the burger or even the fries, they have these fries that basically like the toppings of the burger, but just like on the fries, which is really nice. Yeah.
So it's better animal style fries.
It seems that way. Yeah. And, again, a small spot, but, it can get a little busy, but nothing too crazy by the times we visited there. So I'm pretty happy about that. But that was it in Artesia. I would definitely like to visit more places down there. I just come to mind.
Concord.
Yeah, not Concord specifically, no. But it does come to mind as I talk about this. David of Best Food LA. I think he actually is like doing a little he's doing a feature of like I think it's Restaurant Week out there in Artesia. So I think he's featuring a lot of restaurants out there. By the time this comes out, Restaurant Week there will be over and everyone forgotten, but we'll throw down some of the info there for that as well. But we're going to move on to the city of Bellflower. Again, this is like one of those places that I don't think I have visited too often and don't know too much about, but there are a couple places that are definitely worth mentioning. One of which, if you want another good spot for flour tortillas, this would be your place. And if you happen to be down here in this area, obviously, you have options. But we have this restaurant called Tacos La Rueda, and they just make some great Sonoran style tacos, flour tacos. They've got all the different meats. I think on one of those days I had cabeza, but they have asada, they have chorizo, they have all sorts, which are all very good. And they have a small salsa bar, so you could pile on all the condiments and things as you want. But then they also have a Sonora style hot dog. And if you remember from previous in times past,
hot dogs.
Okay.
All hot dogs or tacos. Either way, both ways work.
Yeah, either way, they're both very delicious, however you slice it. But the Sonoran style dog, we've kind of talked about it. We've referenced it when we've talked about LA's Danger Dogs. Those are kind of akin to a Sonoran style dog. Not exactly, but it leans towards that. I think characteristically, it is a bacon wrapped hot dog. But the bun that they serve here is a little different. It's a little plushier. It's actually a little more steamed. Okay. And they have different, there are different toppings that you put on there, different sauces, that you would finish off for it. But really, for me personally, the standout certainly would be the tacos, whether the tacos or the larger caramelos. Again, we see those with other of our favorites for flour tortilla places. These offer them too. So that's Tacos La Rueda. Now, also in Bellflower, this is kind of a 2-for-1 because there are kind of two places to mention here. One is called Birote, and they are housed in a restaurant called Horchateria.
Nice, I like it already.
Yeah, so Birote is actually a new concept from the chef that owns Machin. If you recall, Machin, known for very good breakfast tacos, breakfast burritos. They have a nice brunch concept all there in like the East LA area. And they also pop up at Smorgasburg. Quick correction, I really meant specifically Boyle Heights. But but they have this, he has this sandwich. So it's a sandwich shop. Birote is the type of bread typically, used for, in a sandwich. And he has various types of sandwiches. So whatever sandwich you're going to get, I think you will not go wrong. I'm trying to recall which sandwich this was. I think it was a definitely pork. I remember that. Do I want to say chicharron? Maybe. But you can see it's kind of balanced. You got the nice meat, but then it's balanced with all the veg on there. And there's like a nice elote kind of side salad. So it's like elote, but a little more fresh, just a little more, just a little extra in there on top of what a typical elote is. But you can see, a lot of good ingredients on there on top of this kind of hearty kind of bread, the birote. So the space itself is actually pretty huge. I don't know what was there before that. If they did something, I think that restaurant, the Horchateria, I think they have their own kitchen. I think they prepare their own food too. But you can get horchata in many different forms of beverages, whether in coffees or lattes or things like that, or just straight up horchata. Even they have a selection of baked goods, conchas and things like that, with or without the use of horchata flavor or whatever. But this is I think a pretty exciting addition spot. So if you happen, if you're willing to come down here, this would be a great spot to visit. So again, it's the spot I'm talking is birote. That's the sandwich shop, and then they are in the restaurant. This place called Horchateria. Okay, down in Bellflower. Now we're gonna move it on to the city of Compton, and Compton. There's actually a couple places to mention here. One of which I recall mentioning before, and we throw it back to barbecue. So in this case, Compton, we've got this place called Kitchen Corner, and it's not. I'd say it's a pop up. They got this truck or trailer that they set up weekly, and but they make some really good barbecue. So we have here, I'm showing off a beef rib, but I've tried their brisket, their ribs. They're all pretty fantastic. And what's really nice and what I can appreciate, Texas barbecue. I mean, we've shared many plates together, my chow, many a meal. Texas barbecue ain't cheap. It can get pretty pricey. Whether because of course just the preparation, it's very involved, takes a long time to cook, but just ingredient pricing out here in the Sunshine State can be pretty costly as well. But what I appreciate is that they keep their prices, pretty reasonable. And if you follow their socials, I think what's nice is that you follow their socials, you'll keep an eye on, they might run some specials where, a two meat plate might run you maybe $20, and that includes some sides and stuff. So, it's, you're doing a good thing for the community out there. But when you can, support them, and that's Kitchen Corner out there. Also in Compton, the other place to mention is the iconic Tam's Burgers. So, as far as kind of roadside burger stand type burgers go, your classic, just like griddle, bun on on the grill, and then with like shredded lettuce and raw onion and things like that. Tam's would be one of those places to go. If you recall, I don't know, I don't watch sports, but I did watch I remember watching the halftime show from when was that, 2020 or something, when they had it when they held it here at SoFi. And Snoop was there and all that, and they featured, in the scenery you could see Tams out there.
Oh, really? So
again, nothing. Well, what do you get? You get a burger. I mean, it's just a burger and fries, nothing really beyond that. But you just want a good, just classic burger. Tams is the way to go. It's a local chain, so you got locations that you can find, not just in Compton, but elsewhere. And I mean, honestly, as far as the burger scene in LA, I mean, it's really built on places like this that make quality, just classic stuff. Simple, but it gets the job done. So Tams is the way to go. We are moving right along here, still in this gateway area that my child disagrees with, but we're looking into the city of Lakewood. Again, Lakewood, once again, Lakewood. I never really ventured there. My child, you probably know at least one place out there.
It's very important this round one.
It is very important, but unfortunately not. It doesn't quite deliver to your expectations. But you know it exists out there.
Yeah. It's still nice to have, closer than the other one, but better than the Burbank one.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, so one thing I wanted to kind of highlight here about Lakewood. Well, one of the social media accounts that I do follow is this guy called Evan, and he runs this channel called LA in a Minute, where he gives off a lot of great information about LA and greater LA, just a lot of facts and historical kind of figures and things about LA, how things came to be, and he does a pretty good video on how Lakewood is really kind of the American city, just like kind of how it's become like this foundational kind of example of like how the rest of the nation, of America really came to build their cities to become the model, of that
really
of how we find a lot of neighborhoods of modern America today. In that kind of suburban, kind of all American context. So Lakewood was the pioneer in kind of making that happen. So otherwise, that's why there's round one, because exactly. So in Lakewood, actually, so there was I had visited there because there was I forget, I'll call it a farmer's market, but not exactly that. It's just more of a, kind of an open air kind of food event. I think it's sponsored by the Lakewood YMCA. And so there were a few places there that I wanted to kind of mention. One of which is this place called Elaine's Bread Pudding. And as the name suggests, they make some great bread pudding. So they make like these small kind of round serving, like personal serving size of bread pudding. The different flavors, different types of varieties there. And yeah, again, a lot of these places from this set, I don't know where they're based out of. Like, I don't know if they have a permanent location. I think they just pop up somewhere, or they do catering or events and stuff. So again, it's important to follow the socials to see where they are. So, but Elaine's Bread Pudding was one of them. Another place is called the Cookie Jar. And so they make like, like over 100 different types of flavors of cookies. They're and they're quite sizable. Let's see if I have something here. I do. So they have like so many flavors. One that stood out was the peach cobbler cookie, which is, as the name kind of, it's a peach cobbler in the form of a cookie. I mean, you get like the bits of like peach in there and whatever. It's like they had like a strawberry shortcake type cookie as well. They have various chocolate ones. I mean, they got a lot. So you have no shortage of option or variety there. So then a couple, what was there? There was like this tamale place. It was called Eddie Clyde's Tamale Hut. From the different things I remember seeing, they are filled with like these savory fillings that are more like soul food flavors. Just more typical like that. So like, I think the one I had was like this, tamale with like, pulled pork in there, for example.
Oh, what?
So, that was a pretty interesting take. So I don't know where they're, where they set up, where they're at. Again, you follow the socials to see, where they'll be at next. But that was a pretty interesting, take from what I saw. And then, one other place was called Sweets by Haneen. I think they're out in the OC, and I just remember having this like a pistachio tres leches cake.
Okay.
Yeah. So so pistachio and a little bit of rose water in there, a little flavor that way. But that was those were just a handful of places. They were all at that. I don't know what you call it. We'll just call it a market thing.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
All right. Now we're coming down to the LBC, to Long Beach. So there's quite a handful of places that we're getting through here, but don't worry, we'll get through them. One of the first kind of follows the theme of like a good classic, burger. So we talk about Tams, that kind of thing. So another great example of getting just a good, burger, and that kind of thing is this. It's a restaurant called Louis Burgers, and there are various locations. I think I'm aware of 4, and this is number 3 of 4. So it's like a time capsule. In time, you have like these, the styles of the benches, the colors. It's like it's captured like in the 90s or something, or late 80s.
What is that?
What?
Your burger looks like a strip steak, honestly.
In this case, it is. So while they have some fantastic burgers,
great.
This is a steak sandwich, my show.
Oh my God, I want.
I think we talked about this from previous times. Like, I had a kick for the sirloin steak sandwich from Carl's Jr. way back in the day.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
And
you've mentioned that before.
And I've been trying a handful of them, and obviously you're not going to compete with like fast food prices, right? But as far as getting that flavor of like this, thin strip of steak, on this, sandwich roll, with just basic veg, shredded lettuce, tomato, and whatnot. This hits the spot. This is a good steak sandwich. And there are other places like this that offer, this type of food, So, I want to make sure I try them as well. But so far, like, this is definitely a good example of that. But you can't forget, as well, to pair that with a good order of, pastrami fries.
Of course. How could you forget?
Of course. There's no other better pairing, really. They're kind of mandatory, to be honest. So actually, these are chili cheese fries topped with pastrami.
Yeah. Of course.
So I guess it's it's not specifically, but it's a la like DUI fries, So very loaded. And so those are quite good. So both. So if you get the chili cheese fries on their own, those are great. Again, a good burger, and in this case, a steak sandwich. So can't really complain there. But that's Louis Burgers, location number 3. But let's see which one is closest near you. Yeah. Now a couple other places here. We have Sal's Gumbo Shack. This is more in, I'd say, like North Long Beach. So they make some great soul food. I've just been kind of looking for local places for soul food and that kind of thing. So in this case, we got this smothered chicken. So smothered basically is fried chicken and just like covered in like gravy or some sauce. We have, my chef, you can see we have some fried okra here, some mac and cheese, and cornbread. I think I had also ordered some gumbo there too, which I enjoyed. But the entire menu here, it's really something. What's going on? Why are you laughing?
It's just because the place is called Sal's Gumbo Shack, and you don't have a picture of the gumbo.
Moving on. If you're in the mood for wings, there are a couple of places here. A little out of order, but one such place is called SoCal Wings. This is just a very local spot. I mean, there are a few locations. Just very few, and very local spot. But they have some wings of different flavor. But this is like those kinds of places that you see this intersection of like, you have the wings, but then you have like Chinese food as well, like some fried rice or like chow mein or things like that. And then they also offer like things like catfish. I think they also make a gumbo too. Yeah, fried catfish.
Oh, nice.
So you see like all these places like come together. But the wings, at least, they are standout. They're quite good, very flavorful. I forget, they have like this thing called just the house special or whatever as far as the flavor goes. And I enjoy those a lot. I think I got like this garlic pepper thing too, which was also good. So, but yeah, it's again, it's not like a fancy place or anything. It's just a local place that's just quite good. We will see here. We'll jump to another wing spot, which is not. Wait, what's that place called? I almost confused it with Wingstop, but it's not.
I'm sorry.
No, this is another wing restaurant called Schlap Muan, and we've talked about them before. Just kind of a last minute gaffe. I don't have a pick for them, even though I know I did. I had one in there. But if you need your fix for wings, just nice, good quality wing with a nice touch of actually Cambodian flavors, then this is your place to go. So not only is the wings prepared really well, nicely and fried, you also have different Cambodian flavors. So I feel like this is a great like gateway if you want to get introduced to like the flavor and the palette of these types of flavors. This would be a great way to go. So they got both dry rubs, got wet sauces and things like that. There is this thing called, I think, like an elephant. I think it was called the elephant flavor or something, which is like doused in like this peanut sauce. So you have the wings. Yeah. So definitely very flavorful that way. And then they also offer things like fried rice and noodles and boba, like Thai tea, that kind of thing. So, so Schlap Muan, I think they have they have their, like, I would say their main location in this restaurant in North Long Beach, but they are all over the place. And, you'll find them at Smorgasburg. You'll find them in downtown Long Beach. I think they actually recently opened a place in Pasadena, a place you can order or pick up stuff there. So, yeah, if you want just good wings, this is a great option, no doubt. So so our next spot we're talking about here, if you want something, or if you want ice cream, you go to Long Beach Creamery, right? So this is again another local spot in a couple locations, but what am I getting there? It's gonna be usually the burnt caramel or the black green coffee, so yeah, nothing really complicated here. It's just a good local spot with good ice cream. So can't go wrong there. Now into a little bit of Hawaiian flair. If you want some Hawaiian comfort food, you can visit this place called Shoots, and that's Shoots with a Z. And I think they're originally based off in the OC, but they have a location out in North Long Beach. And so they've got like this crispy, I think it's like crispy kimchi butter fried chicken. I think I'm throwing in a lot of things here, but a lot of those flavors, yes, I can really come through, but they offer them as a plate, like we see here, in a bed of rice. It's a mac salad, or they have this kind of in a sandwich variety. So either way, you can get this fix of this type of food over there. And they also offer this like spam musubi, which are also quite good as well. So there's a combo where you get like the plate or the sandwich, and then you can also pair that with some spam musubi as well. So yeah, those are good. Now we continue on. We're still here in Long Beach, and one place is a place we've talked about before, and that's Hamburgers Nice. And Hamburgers Nice, they are set up in they set up weekly at this coffee shop called Good Time. And in the mornings, so they, like, on the days where they serve in the mornings, they're doing like breakfast burgers and things like that. And then like they also have a dinner thing that they do where they sometimes change it up. So in this case, this is actually what we're seeing, like a chili burger done a la Wiener Schnitzel, I want to say. So you have this like chili cheese on there on the burger. It's a smash burger, so they got that style, but you can also see they're using like a seeded bun. And then also behind that, there's like a partially eaten corn dog.
Yeah, it's appetizing looking at it like that.
Just to preserve the memory there of that.
Yeah.
But as far as smash burgers go, I do look forward to the scene, expanding for smash burgers, at least in that area. And one such contender addition would be the Window. And I don't remember if we've been together, but the Window, they're originally out in Venice, but you'll find them in Silver Lake, and they now have one out in like Long Beach in the Belmont Shores neighborhood. So what are you getting here? You're getting a smash burger. And what's nice about the Window is that they still price their food very reasonably. You can get a single smash for like I think it was under $4 or something, which is crazy. But it's just nice to know that there's more smash in the LBC, right? It's very important.
Never enough.
Exactly.
Keep smashing.
So now we take a turn. We have some Mexican cuisine from a spot called Lola's, and it's a local chain, so they got a few locations. And what I've gotten here is a nice comforting pozole plate, a nice soup, and then there was like an asada plate as well. But the pozole was very good. Again, a good neighborhood spot. I think this particular one is in the Bixby Knolls neighborhood, but again, just look up where else they're at. But can't go wrong there. If you need some, surprisingly enough, I don't come across a lot of taco places, or I haven't talked a lot about taco places out in the LBC, but one such, I guess, familiar place you could go to would be Angel's Tijuana Tacos. And they're known for the Al Pastor, although all their carnes are good, carne asada and whatnot. But whether it's in a burrito or a taco, you can try them out there. And they're out more in the west side of Long Beach. But those would be a good taco to venture to. Don't worry, Macho. We are kind of rounding it out here, but we'll get there. If you need some donuts, one place to try. So here's the thing, Cambodians really built the donut empire. Okay, it's well documented, and it is. All
right. I would need a deep dive on this for one of these episodes.
Maybe we should, but I'll throw down at least maybe a link to the documentary of really the man who really started it all, and we can thank. But for now, although we do mention that, there is a recent addition called Moonbridge Donuts. I forget which neighborhood, but they're a little more farther east. But they're more like gourmet donuts, so more higher quality, like those more gourmet, a little higher priced or whatever. So but we have some cake donuts, we have some yeast donuts. So a couple of the flavors, one of them was like this raspberry donut, which was pretty good, and there was one with like this Vietnamese coffee flavor as well, a little bit of kick.
Really?
So nice. And then a plain donut. But yeah, these were like pretty substantial, and it was just not very heavy, and it was just a nicer kind of overall like bite, I'd say, for a donut. So.
All right. Yeast or cake?
Well, both. Well, the raspberry donut was a cake donut.
Yeah. But if you had to pick one,
my personal, I'm usually I would get like a cake donut. Yeah.
One of my people.
Yeah.
All right. I like it.
So usually like the cake donuts are like the old fashions, right? Those types of things. Those are
cake donuts.
Those are quite good. So, but if you want to pair that with some barbecue, you can visit, this place, this barbecue spot called Wrigley Barbecue. And I don't know, like I had, came across them and I wanted to try them, but they make a really good plate of barbecue. We have some ribs, sausage, and I think there was brisket as well.
What is that?
And then we have some yams.
Left.
Oh, we have some yams, yams,
okay,
and
nice.
And some mac and cheese. So I think they're reasonably priced, and they were very flavorful. I really enjoyed this place, and I would like to try them again. This is more Southern style. It's not Texas or anything like that, but this is a good this would be a great spot to visit again. So, and then lastly for Long Beach, we've come kind of rounding it out here. We this is a spot we have talked about before, or at least I've shown you before. Is this place called Dave's, and it's a small kind of burger shack in the kind of Bixby Knolls area, and they're kind of known for just making a good, again, like classic roadside burger stand. But they have this burger called the Cubby, and so as you can see here, you have your burger with your veg on there, but then you also have some hot dogs sliced on there too.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of examples actually in LA that offer this kind of dish, but at least here in Long Beach, you'll find this iteration here at Dave's Burgers. So now as far as LA, my child, we have conquered LA,
Greater Los Angeles area.
That's right. But
where's your Antelope Valley, huh?
The what?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're gonna venture off a little outside of LA, not too far and not too deep, but we're just gonna visit a couple spots in the OC, and one of which we've already talked about previously, the Smoke Queen, just a new Texas style barbecue spot out in Garden Grove. So
yeah, not too far out.
Not that far. So we got brisket and ribs and some Asian flavors like siyuk and char siu, and a lot of Asian flavored sides as well. So if you would like to try out there, go to visit the Smoke Queen. And then one other spot, it's actually for some sweets. This was actually, I watched a video on my YouTube feed highlighting this small French pastry shop in Anaheim. I think it's called Le Mirage. And in addition to a lot of French style pastries, there's also a lot of Middle Eastern kind of influence as well. One particular dessert that I wanted to talk about here was this ice cream called Booza. And I'd never heard of it. I had no idea about it. But Booza is this, it's like this stretchy, chewy ice cream. Like it doesn't immediately like melt in your mouth like a typical ice cream. But there's like a little bit of like resin in there, a little bit, these kind of ingredients that make it like this chewier texture. And you can see flavor wise, you have pistachio, some rose water. Again, a lot of these kind of Middle Eastern kind of influences here. But a Booza, and we'll share the video down there too, where that's from. But yeah, it's stretchy, it's gummy, but it's got great flavor, and it's an interesting texture, and I really enjoyed it. It's just that you go to there in Anaheim, and as you know, my child, we're not going to go to Anaheim anytime soon, at least not anymore.
Not anymore.
So what's the point? But we'll have to find an excuse to venture out there. But yeah, that was a good one. Now we've officially conquered the OC.
Now it's all okay.
We're really making strides here, but yeah, back to LA. We've really covered a lot of ground. We've covered many different regions, many different types of food. I think it just many different places, a lot of calories consumed. I can tell you that much.
As expected.
Yeah, actually, but I don't know, my child, from all the rambling here, if there's anything really that stood out to you or anything that, maybe piqued your interest. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot going on here.
So that steak sandwich from Louis Burgers.
Yeah.
Curious. I'm very curious.
Okay.
But the place I'm most interested about, honestly, that you talked about today, honey dressed chicken. Because that, I don't know if it's the picture that looked good or if it's actually that good, but that was a great picture to sell that food.
Personally, I think it's a great spot. You know, it's a relatively new spot as well, and I hope they stick around. They're again like in kind of
they have two spots apparently.
Oh, they do. Okay, where's the the one is Gardena. So where's the other one?
Torrance. So
okay,
not too far.
Again, South Bay.
Yeah, two locations.
You know. So next time we get you out here, we'll hook you up with some honey dressed fried chicken. So it's good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So a lot of good eats to be found. A lot of these places, they might be on a list. They might be, featured. A lot of these places, probably see on social. They'll probably, knowing how the socials work and your phone works. It's like they'll probably be listening to you, and then they'll just spring up on your feed in no time, right?
Oh, me specifically.
Yeah, I mean
yeah, I mean, I've been looking them up as you go along, so
okay.
my feed's gonna be inundated with these places or
Absolutely.
Similar.
Yeah, so like as you kind of referenced earlier, I mean, we've covered a lot of ground, but yeah, there are like maybe two other major areas we really didn't touch. There's the Santa Clarita Valley and
nothing you're missing out there,
and the Antelope Valley. So.
Also nothing you're missing out there.
I know. I'll throw it back again about that LA in a Minute guy I was talking about. He he did a highlight of a feature of like several restaurants that have been open for a very long time, let's say over 100 years in LA County, and I think there is one such restaurant that exists in the Santa Clarita Valley. Now I don't know if I would venture out all the way there. I mean,
SCB hasn't been around for 100 years. No way.
No? Okay. Maybe not 100, but maybe a long time. I got to fact check myself on this then, but I know like there's just like a spot that's been open for a very long time. It's got kind of that historical significance or whatever. But okay. But I'll throw that wherever that is, and then you can follow up with me. And, if you've lived in the SCV for over 100 years, please email us at hi@dumbandhungry.com and let us know what it's like out there. But, yeah, I mean, there's plenty and far in between of everything we've talked about so far. So hopefully you'll find your way out there. And hopefully, my child, we can hit up a lot of these places together. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. But for now,
the place in the LBC.
Yeah, maybe. But for now, we come to the end of another episode. So thank you. And thank you to our few and only fans for joining us. We're excited to bring you more of our adventures with good food and good people. Just reach out here on Instagram. I'm at Dumb and Hungry. He's at my_chow, where you can just slide right in. You can also email us at hi@dumbandhungry.com, where you can leave us your feedback and your love letters. You can find the videos on YouTube. Won't you like, subscribe, and smash? You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else fine podcasts are served. But until next time, I'm Angelo, the Dumb and Hungry.
And I'm Mancha.
And in your next food adventure, remember to try one of each. Actually, we're not done yet. My hunger, my literal hunger and my figurative hunger for power and conquest continues. I wanted to just talk about a few other places.
Grants you power?
What's that? Yeah.
It grants you power.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So
that makes sense now.
A few places I wanted to talk about actually. So again, in this time window we're talking about here, I went down to San Diego like around holiday time, and there were this was all around holidays, so it's a little quiet, not too much going on, but there's still a lot of good eats going on out there. I was able to try. If you need a good smash burger out there, you can go to The Friendly. This place called The Friendly. It's actually a pizza spot, but they make some great smash burgers as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So It's called the Friendly. And then as far as barbecue goes, there are a handful of, barbecue places, including Texas style and whatnot. But I think a good, just kind of comforting go-to personally would be Phil's Barbecue. So, of
course.
Yeah. So they've got some pretty massive plates that they serve, whether it's pork ribs or beef ribs or whatnot. While my appetite is usually voracious, you could get like a smaller sampler. So in this case, I got like this they call it a tickler plate, I guess. In this case, one beef rib, couple onion rings, fries, coleslaw. Can't go wrong with that. And then if you are looking for some Asian flair, one thing you can try that's a little more like modern take would be this place called Formosa. Musa as in a cow, Musa. This is Taiwanese, actually. Taiwanese flair with a great beef roll, some popcorn chicken, and a great noodle soup. Everything on there was quite good. And it was on the same plaza as like this other Chinese restaurant that's well known, but was just too busy for me to be able to join that time. So, but I'm glad Formosa was around to get my fix. If you need a good classic taco, you go to Tacos El Gordo for some good adobada. And I don't know what it was, although I said it was kind of quiet during holidays. I mean, going to that spot was definitely very busy, very lively over there. The lines were just crazy. You just got to look, at the sign. So they have like several lines at the restaurant. If you recall, when we went, there are like several lines out there, and each one has like specific items that they serve. Like one will serve like carne asada, one will serve the adobada, one will do like loaded fries, one will do burritos, things like that. So just find your line and line up there, so you don't, end up waiting in the wrong line. A lot of times they will help you, get the thing that you want, even though they don't necessarily prepare it there. It just takes a little longer, and then, people will look at you and judge you, whatever. So, but yeah, Tacos El Gordo's, it's a good go-to. And then outside of San Diego is a small town called Julian. It's a small mountain town. And then while I was out there, it was definitely a little more lively out there, surprisingly, even though it is a smaller town. But you can visit Julian Beer Company, and they offer some pretty decent barbecue out there. Tried some ribs, some brisket. They had a burger out there, so had to get some of that. And then on the way back, there's a small bakery called Mom's Pies. So they make some, it's a good local spot, some good pies, some good baked goods. But yeah, that's a small kind of sampling there in San Diego. And now we've conquered San Diego too. What about that? So a lot of food for thought. So plenty to...
Nowhere is safe.
No. Better watch out. Oh man. Okay. So yeah, San Diego is another great area to explore. But we'll just have to find some time to do it. So